Okay, we are on page 93, and we are doing lesson 4.1, multiplying decimals. And we're going to start with the Explore activity, and we're going to look at A. And we're going to look at how to use a decimal grid to help us find each product, okay? And so our very first question is 3/10 times 5/10. So if you look at our grid here, tenths go in rows across or down. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lightly shade in 5 rows, okay, and that represents our 5/10, okay, because that's half of each one of those lines. That's 5/10. Okay, and so we shade those in just lightly. Don't overdo it, kiddos. All right, and that's 5/10. Now, we are going to shade in 3/10, and they already have it kind of marked off for you. And that is, we're going to shade that going in this direction, and we're going to shade that going down. Okay, here's our 3/10 right here. Okay, and so where they cross, where they're doubly shaded, that's the answer to the division problem. Okay, and so 3/10 of each 1/10 that's already shaded represents 3/10 of 5/10. And remember, of always means multiply. And so 15 squares, this little section right in here, that's 15 squares. That's the part that's double shaded. And those are hundredths. So that's 15 hundredths. And 3/10 times 5/10 is 15 hundredths. Okay, so if we look here on example B, we see we're going to use what's called an area model because our fractions are greater than 1, so they have a number in front of the decimal. So each row, those are the ones that are going to go that way, contain 3 wholes and then 2/10. So you've got your 1, 2, 3 whole squares, and then your tenths are right here. There's your little pieces right there. And then our columns, which go down, those are where you're going to have your 2 wholes right there, and then that one little tenth down there at the bottom. All together, what do we have? So all together, if we go and count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole parts. Then we got to count our little tenths. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. And then right down here, if you see these 2 little tiny squares, that represents the hundredths, and there are 2 of those. So what that model right there tells us is that 3 2/10 times 2 1/10 is 6 72 hundredths. All right, I want you to go ahead and pause it and answer the reflect question. How are the products, remember product is answer when you multiply, of 2 1/10 and 3 2/10 and 21 times 32 alike? How are they the same? And then how are they different? Okay, so we're on page 94, and right here it talks about multiplying decimals, and it says to multiply decimals first, you're going to multiply them just like you would with whole numbers. Then when you're finished, that's when you go back and figure out where the decimal point is going to go. And the number of decimal places that you get into the product, which is just a fancy word for answer, is how many decimal places are in all of your factors or all of the numbers that are being multiplied together. So let's look here at example 1. Delia bought 3 8/10 pounds of peppers. The peppers cost $1.99 per pound. What was the total cost of her peppers? So $1.99 times 3 8/10. Here is the normal multiplication, and we get 7562. Well, our top number has 2 decimal places in it, and our bottom number has 1. So altogether, our answer is going to have 3 decimal places in it. So we start here at the right, and we go 1, 2, 3 over, And so the answer is 7.562. Now, because we're talking money here, we're just going to estimate that to the hundredths place, which gives us the $7.56. Okay, so if we were going to check to see if our answer made sense or if our answer was correct, then we would take our $1.99 and we would round that to 2, our 3 8/10, and we would round that to 4. And then we just simply multiply those two numbers together, and 2 times 4 is 8. And 8 is very close to $7.50. So we know that our answer makes sense. Okay, so let's look at the Your Turn questions down there at the bottom. We have 12.6 times 15.3. They went ahead and did the first row for us, the 3 times 6, 3 times 2, and 3 times 1. That gave us 378. And now we're going to continue with the multiplication. You do it just like normal. We need our 0 placeholder to go there. And then 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10, plus our 3 would be 13. 5 times 1 is 5. It's really hard to write in here. Plus our 1 makes 6. Okay, so that's 6300. Then we add another, we go down here and we have to put down our 2 decimal for our placeholders for the hundreds. And 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. Alright, now we're going to add together. Our 8 and our zeros is 8. 7 plus zeros are 7. 3 and 3 is 6, plus another 6 would be 12. Carry the 1. I hope you guys did yours a lot neater than mine is. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then we just have our 1 here. Now, we have to go and figure out how many decimal places we need to put into our answer. Okay, so our first factor had 1 decimal place, and our second factor had 1 decimal place. So altogether, that's going to give, we're going to need 2. And so we just simply scoot over. Make sure you always start at the back of the number and move that direction. Never start at the front, always at the back. And so our final answer would be 192 and then 78 hundredths. Okay, let's look at number 4. 9 76 thousandths times 46 thousandths. And so let's go ahead and do our multiplication. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry our 3. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 is 45. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 4 would be 58. Okay, and then we add our 0 placeholder here. 4 times 6 is 24. So I'm done with those. I need 2. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. And 4 times 9 is 36, plus the 3 is 39. Alright, now we're going to add those together. So 0 plus 6 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 0 plus 8 is 8. 5 plus 9 is 14. And 3 plus that 1 is 4. Okay, so we've done all that correctly. Now we want to go back and check our decimal places. This one has 2. This one has 2. So all together, we're going to need 4 decimal places in our answer. So once again, we start here at the end, and we go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And so our final answer would be 4.4896. And that